Well guys, you know what that drum solo means. Pontiac 455 time, my 1970 Pontiac LeMans. She's fired up, getting a little heat in her before I go out and test it. Very recently, if you pay attention to the main channel, we just put a brand new strainer, sock, fuel sending unit, and float in the back of it, replacing the original one from 1970 that was in this car. And we're hoping that's going to take care of my fuel stumbles. Where I was running into a problem is at the top of second on that 2-3 shift. It was stumbling and it felt like it was a fueling issue. I don't have a fuel pressure gauge on this. This is as old school as it gets. It's a Quadrajet 880 Quadrajet that's on this thing. Old school 455 with 6X heads, so I don't have a lot of telemetry. I don't have a lot of feedback. You just kind of go by feeling, and it feels like it's running out of fuel. So we replaced that. It is all 3/8 inch line from the tank all the way to the front. Should be able to serve it plenty of fuel to feed this thing, but the only way to know that is going to be to get out and test it. Oh, shucks and darn. I got to take my hot rod out and go enjoy it in a beautiful afternoon here in Central Ohio. And can we just pause for the drum solo? Oh, it's so good. All right. I will say that Pipe's exhaust system is definitely one of the sexier exhaust notes I've ever had on a hot rod. This thing is so good. I think I've got a closed course for testing here I can get to real quick. Let's see if she behaves herself. To me, she's moving, boys. With that being the original sock that's on there, man, has this thing been starving of fuel its entire life, the whole time I've had it? It's possible. It's possible. But maybe let's make one more pull just to make sure. Meaner. She's definitely meaner. Okay, so I would say we're happy with that. I want to put a couple of miles on it real quick. I did also notice previously with driving the car that it occasionally felt like it had a little bit of a miss or a stumble at cruising speeds, and I want to make sure that that's gone. Feels like it's gone. God, I love this car. I really do. Yes, I know, I need to put a headliner in it. I need to put a nice interior in it. I need to do a lot of things. You know, I do. But I don't want to let those things detract me from the fact that I can enjoy this car right now. I love this car. It is so much fun to drive. So much fun to drive. It makes great noises. It looks cool. You know, if you're not into the patina look, I get it. I understand. But paint body's expensive. Interior work is expensive. Bits and pieces get expensive. And more often than not, most of the guys that spend a whole lot of money on paint and interior and stuff, they don't really ever get to go out and enjoy their toys. Unfortunate. I play with my toys. And I even let my friends play with my toys, because clearly Bob's gonna go race this thing. I'm not even gonna make a pass in it. Just Bob's gonna go have fun, which is awesome. have some beautiful roads around here for test driving, I'll be honest. It is one of the high points of the day, is when you gotta go out and test something. I think we're happy. I'm gonna get it on the highway here real quick so I can run it highway speeds, make sure everything's good. I think we're gonna swap to slicks because I believe we're gonna be, I think he's running a 13.0 index class this Saturday at Edgewater. If you're, by the way, going to be looking for something to do in the Cincinnati area, or you're gonna be at Edgewater, Bob will be there with this car along with Billy Hoskinson and Bill Hoskinson and that whole old man's garage street racing channel crew. I will also try to be there as well. I don't know 100% whether or not I'm going to be there, but hopefully this, you know, I'll be there. We'll see. Never mind, traffic sucks. Not gonna do it. We're going that way. Felt like an odd hang there on that shift. Didn't feel or sound like it was running out of throttle, but it did feel like the transmission wasn't shifting at the right spot. Maybe it's just my imagination. I'm paying attention to too many things. Let's give her one more test. It is hard because I'm on street tires on a car that does not hook on the street. So that is also a challenge with this car. Let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, it shifted where it's supposed to shift. I think we're good. I think we're good. God, I love this car. God, I love this car. And the brakes, let me say, the brake upgrade on this is awesome. We did disc in the front, drum in the rear, which a lot of you guys have done before. It's just a over-the-counter Jegs kit, nothing real spectacular. But we went with a vacuum pump with a sensor in it. So it's no longer using engine vacuum whatsoever for the brakes. It's just running off of a pump that kicks on when it realizes that it needs more vacuum. So these brakes are absolutely fantastic. Best brakes I've ever had in a hot rod. They are fantastic. And this is not a trans brake car. This is a foot brake car. So I better have good brakes on the front of this thing for it to hold back so Bob can stage this thing in a light. Because he's gonna have to cut some lights to be able to be competitive this weekend. No doubt. I think we're good, guys. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. Proud of this little car. That look like leaking fuel to you? No way. No freaking way. Just wait, Ted. Unbelievable. Maybe loose fitting. Let's chalk it up to that. We'll test that fitting real quick, tighten it up, make sure that everything's good. You can tell it's old school. This is as old school as it gets. Still has original stamp steel control arms on it. Put some KYB shocks on it. Still has the old school springs in it. Still has old school steering in it. This is old school. Go fast as it can get. I might have done a better job wrapping that side than I did this side. This one's a little rough. My DEI heat coating is not doing the greatest. That's all right. Otherwise, we're good to go. If you happen to be an astute observer of my gauges, maybe not, you may or may not have noticed that my fuel level shows that I have less than 0 fuel in it, which means I'm probably not getting signal from my sender. So Want to make sure that that's indeed hooked up. Don't know. Lower her back down and see whether or not I've got fuel level. But unlike my AMX, where you have access to all the stuff, because on the AMX the sender and everything's right here in the front of the tank. On here it's on top, so we have to drop the tank back down and assess what's going on there. But if the sender's bad, then we got to redo what we just did anyway, so that sucks. I don't know how much fuel is in this thing. I didn't look at it when we had the tank down, and Rich doesn't remember, so we're just gonna have to be a little bit careful with it. Obviously it's not gonna keep us from going to play this weekend, but something I've realized, that even even brand new parts can still be bad. Whether or not that's installer error or whether or not that's bad parts, it happens. Sometimes you got to redo stuff, which sucks. So let me see if I can get this fuel leak figured out here up at the front, tighten that up. Hopefully that's all that is, because that is my $120 Holley fuel pump. Give me a second. Look at me. Look at me, I got smart this time. I actually kinked off the line. So I gave this about 1/8 of a turn, and we're gonna see whether or not it's still got a leak or not. Hopefully not. Maybe I give her more, we'll see. Still looks like I got a leak going there. Ah, man. It doesn't look like it's coming from the body though. Like it's not coming from the diaphragm around it, from what I can see. Man, this is annoying. Bruce back there making noise.
Anything gripping yet.
Always something, man.
It's always gonna be. That's the way it is.
Looks dry to me. It would cool here and then drop down, or drop off of here, so. I think it's good. I think we just did one extra cookie jugga. Got it. Sweet. Cool. I fixed the thing. Look at me. I'm not as dumb as I look. Well, not all the time.
What's that they say? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again.
Now I just gotta fix the fuel level.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to have.
I love the sound of this car.
Sounds good.
Yeah, still nothing on the center. It's always something. Well, welcome to McVay Automotive Machining. Bob McVay over there wandering away from me. I'm dropping off some parts for an Oldsmobile project that we're working on for the shop. We're building a 455 with Bob, and it's going to be pretty wicked. It's actually going to be a pump gas motor, as in like 87 octane, but still going to be a great little hot rod motor. But what I'm really truly up here to talk about is Mr. Bob McVay is going to be piloting my yellow Pontiac this weekend at Plates and 28s. Bob, say hi to people, Bob.
Hello, hello, hello.
So you and I had an adventure back in July in this little
It was
Pontiac.
a fun adventure.
It was. It was. This was kind of spurred by a random text message. Hey, do you have anything I can drive at Pontiac Nationals?
Yep.
And it turned into a hell of a weekend.
Hell of a weekend.
So how did you do? Remind me again.
Should have won. You had
Yeah.
to remind me of that portion of it.
Let's focus on the good parts. You finished second
I did.
by like hundredths of a second.
Yeah.
How you ended up in second instead of first, we don't need to talk about it.
No.
But Pontiac is now, I believe, fixed and back up and running.
I hope so.
Fuel system seems like we figured that out. On the main channel, we did replace the sock and sending unit as well as everything else that's in the tank. The tank looked beautiful, so there's no schmutz in there, but there was original sending unit that was in the tank. The original sock had collapsed, and it was absolutely filthy because it's seen a lot of things since 1970. And I think we're squared away. So I'm going to go put some mileage on that car again today, make some test passes as I can. And then the idea is this weekend, you're taking that thing south.
Yep.
So Bill Hoskinson and Billy Hoskinson are putting on a thing at Edgewater.
Edgewater.
Okay. So what are you going to run this thing in down at Edgewater?
It's a 13-second class, quarter mile.
Okay.
And it's 5/10 per tree, which so we'll have to cheat a little bit on the reaction time a little bit. That's a heavy car, but
yeah,
but it runs really close to the 13 seconds. So
you were basically right at 13,
right?
All weekend long.
Yeah, or just a little bit quicker than that in the mornings when it was cold. So it'll probably be a little quicker than that. So taking a little out the starting line will be just fine.
Well, you're also probably at lower. I don't know. You're lower at altitude.
Yeah, it's usually a little quicker down there.
Okay, I've never run at Edgewater Motorsports.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a heck of a party.
There is. They say there's people coming from all over the United States.
That's awesome.
It is. It's great. It's great for the track.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, please come out.
I will try to be there this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen with my dad and his health situations, but I'm going to do my best to be there. But Bob is actually, I think the plan is you're going to come pick that car up?
Yep, later today.
Okay. So Bob is going to bring it. He's going to be down there with the guys all weekend long, running my 1970 455 Le Mans. He did a hell of a job piloting it last time in no seat time.
No.
Like, we did a couple of burnouts on the road and then put it on the trailer and rock and roll.
Yep.
So I don't even remember how many rounds you went. 7?
Something like that.
7 or 8 rounds?
Yeah.
It was serious. If you haven't had a chance and you're interested in watching old Bob McVay do more than just doing the machining side of things, jump over to Lucor channel. Actually, I'll put a tag up here on the top, and you can watch the video from that day because it was absolutely fantastic.
It was.
Like, as far as, and I didn't even race my own car at that point, but I was having a freaking blast watching you.
Well, it was fun watching you. You were just like, holy shit.
It was so good. It's rare you see somebody that's like, I've known you for a while, but I've never seen you behind the wheel. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go. Maybe Bob's gonna go out and flub it with like a 3-second 60-foot. And it was just like, oh, all right, Bob knows what he's doing. And then again, and then again. And then guys are like red lighting trying to beat you off the tree and you're just dead accurate over and over and over again. And feeling like the excitement of that whole thing. And I know you try to really like keep your excitement levels down, but like I could feel it bubbling.
Yeah, it was hadn't done it in a long time.
Yeah.
And I felt the car was very competitive. So I was making other people make mistakes.
Yes.
And
that consistency is hilariously intimidating. Like when you can go out and cut a light every single time, it makes the guy in the other lane
make a mistake.
Yeah. You keep doing what you're doing, and that guy's going to wait for him to screw up. Mm-hmm. I think you won 2 rounds, or 3 rounds from the other person red light.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
So,
and then the other ones, I got treed a little bit on, but I made him break out at the other end somehow. And yeah, it was my good day. It was my day.
It really was.
It was my day.
Any idea how many cars we're talking about this weekend?
I don't know.
So maybe
I don't know what they. I know Bill said on his live video last night that they had almost 200 cars or something pre-registered.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're coming from California, and
I think I saw Tony's even here.
Yeah, Tony's here.
You're gonna try to put a car together that needed an engine. So yeah, sure, build a whole car in a couple of days.
A couple days.
Sure.
But
cool. Well, it should be fun. I'm going to try to be there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it there or not. My dad's got a lot of health issues that I'll generally keep most of that off the channel. But today we have a health question at the hospital. And then depending on how that goes is going to be how my weekend's going to go. So hopefully I will be there, but Bob will be running around. You taking your gold chain?
I think I do have an RV.
Perfect. So you'll spot Bob. He'll be this guy with a big gold chain on. It should be a really great weekend. I'm really excited to see Bill especially, it's really a pet project of his because he wants, like, he's been through all the small town track stuff. Like when he was younger, it was all small town track stuff. Yep. And as he has grown up, he's seen a lot of those tracks disappearing.
Right.
So being able to host an event at a small local track like Edgewater, like that's a real serious pet project to him.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm really hoping this is kind of maybe the start of something.
I think it may be, you know. You know, he gets the right people, I think, around him to help him. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think from what I understand, that John Shears should be the right technical guy to help solve any of those type of issues that Bill don't have to get involved in.
Yeah.
And so I think he's going to do well.
The nice thing is he's got enough clout and he's been there in the industry enough that he's got a lot of great connections.
Yep.
So I think it'll make this
very successful.
I hope so. I really, really
and
hope
I mean, I think it's pretty cool to be able to go out and drive these cars, you know, on that drive and come back and race them. And so I think that's cool, you know, and thank God the weather hold out. You know, it looks going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
For this
70 degrees and perfect
on the end of October.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when he told me he was going to do it, I was like, well, how much snow tires we got to have?
Right. Is it going to be beautiful or snowing?
Yeah. You know, I've seen it.
You bring up the driving part of it, and I think that's one of the kind of the interesting things. My world of drag racing, when it's a street car, is it has plates on it, it has tires that you can drive on the street, it runs on gasoline that you buy from a gas pump. Mm-hmm. That's a street car to me. Not you technically drive it on the street, but it's a full-blown race car. And one of the things that he is instituting with this is for like cars that are considered street cars, they have to truly go on a cruise through like small towns and stoplights. And
they got to go over to the casino and get a picture taken and upload it to the website. So
it's going to be kind of a small version of like a sick week kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where you have like registered stops that you have to do to prove that you did the whole drive.
Yeah.
So, which also should be kind of fun for people that are out in the community, is they're going to see a little parade of cool cars running around, kind of like what we do on Power Tour. So.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I want to shout out to my little Pontiac. That car was never built as a hot rod race car. It was never designed to race. It's got a 336 rear end gear. It's got a very street friendly 455 in it. It's gone on Power Tour a bunch of times, and it can drive to the track, race it, drive it back. To me, like, that's how street cars were.
Yep.
And that car has massively impressed me. Plus, you've done a hell of a job piloting it, so thanks for making it look good. Hopefully do it again this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe, who knows how big the 13.0 class is going to be. Have you officially announced that you were the 13.0?
No, because I haven't registered yet.
Okay.
But I will.
See if we can get some other people that want to come out and challenge. There you go. Any 13.0 guys that have got some old school classic stuff that want to come out and challenge Bob McVay? This weekend's your chance to do it down at Edgewater Motorsports Park, just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. Should be a great time. You guys are racing Saturday, right? So Friday, today's Thursday. Friday's a test and tune day.
Yeah, and then we have a car show.
And a car show.
Yeah.
And then Saturday is racing all day.
Yep.
And there's also when the cruise is going to happen.
Yep.
So they got to cruise and then come back to the track.
I think they have test and tune or whatever. You can get some hits out of the car in the afternoons while they're doing the cruise. I think at 4 o'clock or something, they start with the 28s on eliminations.
Okay.
And then he did a rundown last night on the video, so they can tune into that to see.
I will link to Bill's live video from last night up here in the cards if you're interested in that. It's being put on by Old Man's Garage, Bill Hoskinson. If you don't know who Bill is, you may not know who Bill Hoskinson is. He's a local guy here that's been in the street racing world. He's Billy Hoskinson's dad, who is Street Racing Channel, and he's been in there and done that for everything for the last 40 years. Basically. So this is kind of his pet project to kind of help put some positivity and some focus and some support behind small local tracks and keep those guys in business, because unfortunately sometimes the land is worth more than the business of doing a racetrack.
Right.
Or you get in trouble with sound or whatever the case may be. We don't want to get into that. Anyway, if you're interested, show up at Edgewater Motorsports Park this weekend. Should be a great time. Bob will be there. I will try to be there. Feel free to come up and say hi whenever we're there if we're not stressed out and working on something. But we always like talking to people and shaking hands, kissing
babies.
We're
just going to have fun. No matter what happens, just have fun.
As long as you don't break my car.
Well,
then we got to fix it.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully I get to see you guys this weekend. Otherwise, I will do my very best to share everything I can while I'm down there. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin, my own little personal tiny corner of the YouTube internets, where I work on my own projects and stuff like that. So hope you have a great one. Hope we get to see you this weekend. If not, I'll share what I can. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.